Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Miasin and welcome to my Unchained deck profile. So, yeah, well, I mean, as you can see, I didn't make a combo video. The reason for that is because I really don't believe that this deck has, like, too many combos. It's more like a control-oriented deck, honestly. There's no other way to put it, but yeah, before I start the deck profile, friendly reminder to comment, like, and subscribe because it helps me out a lot and actually motivates me to keep making videos like these. So, yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right into the deck profile. So, the first thing that you can probably notice is you're literally playing 3 of every single Unchained card except the 2 abominable Unchained card. Well, I mean, Abominable Unchained Soul and Unchained Soul of Disaster. So the 2 big guys that you can't normal summon, I'm playing only 2. And the other cards, every single one of them, every single card from the archetype outside of these 2 are maxed out at 3. The reason for that is because these are not low-level monsters, so you can't just normal summon them. They kind of just get stuck in your hand. They kind of contribute to the bad hands, and you still need to play more than 1 copy. Otherwise, if you draw it, then you can't summon it like at all, because you need to be able to special summon from the deck. So in a way, they can kind of be compared to Garnet, because I mean, yeah, they're not good in the hand. I mean, especially Unchained Soul of Disaster. Like, this card in your hand does, like, absolutely nothing at all. It's, like, absolutely horrible. The only thing you can do is, like, summon Abominable Unchained Soul and then discard Unchained Soul of the Disaster and then pop a card on the field and then, like, use the Call of the Hunted to, like, bring it back and then use it, like, during your own turn. But that's kind of bait. That's not good at all. I'm not a big fan, but yeah. Anyways, these ones are 2 ofs because, yeah, exactly like I said, you need to play more than 1, but you don't want to play 3 because they're cloggy as heck. So 3 of every single monster that can be summoned in the archetype. I did not play Lilith because I know that some people play Lilith. I don't like it because it's just another normal summon and it doesn't even, like, contribute, like, directly to your strategy unless you're playing, like, Diagram. But even then, like, what are you really doing? Like, it's just like an illusion that you're plussing, but you really aren't, because the Unchained cards aren't like Rocket Tracer, where when you destroy something, you get something, like, as a bonus. It's just if you happen to destroy another Unchained card, then that card, like, refunds itself. But, like, think about it. You're destroying 1 card, so you go neg1, and then that card triggers and summons another monster from the deck. So you went neg1 to go +1. That's a break even. That's pretty pathetic. Like, that's I'm not a big fan. And Sarama is the only one that actually truly goes +1 because you get back an Unchained card from your grave. So pretty much whatever you destroyed. So indirectly, it allows you to get a free monster from your deck, like special summon for free. So Sarama definitely the better one. The red one is like the one that doesn't use your normal summon, and the blue one is like the interruption during your opponent's turn. So you actually get to use a quick effect to destroy any card on your field, and if you destroy like any of the spells or traps while they're face down, or any monster, you get to summon Abominable Unchained Soul during your opponent's turn, and then you can discard 1 card from your hand and destroy any card on the field without targeting. So don't forget about that. So that's it's one way to use Unchained Soul of Disaster, exactly like I said. You just discard. So yeah. For the hand trap lineup, as you can see, I play 3 Nibiru. I know it's not that good in the current format because by the time your opponent gets to 5 summons, they probably just don't really care about Nibiru anymore, because they either have Appaloosa or Rafflesia or Herald of the Arclight, or their board just isn't, like, intimidating yet, and they need to, they still have a lot of extenders, so they can keep pushing after your Nibiru, but you're still, like, you're still threatened because they can just make Appaloosa at any time. So Nibiru usually isn't that good, but when it is good, especially in this deck, it's, like, very, very good because you can actually use it infinite times. Because let's just say your opponent has, like, he summoned, like, 5 times. You go Chainlink 1 Nibiru, and in Chainlink 2 you actually use the effect of Reika, the water one, and just target any card on the field, attempt to destroy it. You can destroy itself, and then what it's gonna do is that since the water Unchained is in Chainlink 2, it has to fully resolve. So it's going to lock you from summoning only fiend monsters for the rest of the turn, and then Chainlink 1 Nibiru has to resolve full as much as it possibly can. So it has to tribute every single monster on the field, but then you have to keep the Nibiru in hand because you're locked under fiends only. So definitely has some cute synergy. 1 Nibiru equals infinite triggers, but realistically your opponent won't, like, summon 5 times every single turn, but at least he knows that you have it, so he's gonna play, like, very like, conservatively, and you'll be able to win because if your opponent plays, like, very, like, if he doesn't apply any pressure, then you probably just have nothing to worry about, because this deck is definitely good when it gets to play. As you can see, I play a lot of proactive cards. It's not like a really reactive deck that just hopes that, you know, your opponent like runs out of resources or anything. Like, this can actually just secure an OTK like relatively easily, which is really nice. And also, if your opponent just ends on a couple of monsters on the field that don't really do anything, then you can kind of just link off like every single one of their monsters, because Unchained Soul of Disaster actually has so much synergy with Anguish, and during your opponent's turn you can use it as you can use Unchained Soul of Rage as an interruption to make Unicorn during your opponent's turn. So kind of acts as like a double interruption during your opponent's turn, and during your own turn you can very quickly link into a Link 4 using barely anything really. Like, with 2 monsters you can literally make a Link 4. It's pretty sick, so yeah. Ashe is the one hand shop that people might just be kind of confused, like, why do you play that and not like Infinite? The reason for that is because you can't play Infinite, because if you do play it, it will actually conflict heavily with Supply Squad, because you actually draw cards during your opponent's turn very often, and Infinite, you know, you can't use it during your opponent's turn if you have a card on your field. The Supply Squad is always going to be there, so, you know, it's just that draw, whereas Ashe, at least, you can just use it at any time. And honestly, it's kind of like, out of all the hand shops out there, it's probably like the better one. Like, yeah, sure, there was DD Crow, but I also have Called by the Grave, so sometimes you don't necessarily need it as a hand shop, and Called by the Grave just ensures that you don't get ashed on your very crucial special summon from deck effects. Yeah, don't forget about that. And also Extravagance, when you're trying to draw, you can just Called by the Grave, the Ashe, like stuff like that. And also, you don't need anything in your extra deck like that desperately, except like Unchained Soul of Rage. That's kind of like the one that you summon the most, or Abomination, just to make sure that your opponent literally like never gets to play Yu-Gi-Oh, because every single one of their cards gets destroyed. That's definitely cute. But the thing is, you know, you can just play 3 of every single card to avoid that problem. It's really not that big of a deal. But yeah, like, you really need to keep going. And I understand, like, Supply Squad can indeed conflict with Extravagance, but just think of it that way. If you draw 2 Supply Squads with Extravagance, then you're like in business, because the 2 Supply Squads are exploding and drawing 2 cards, and you can just keep the Extravagance in the hand and use that as discard fodder for Abominable Unchained Soul. If you only draw 1 Extravagance in Supply Squad, then you go +1 with Extravagance, so you actually, you know, it's a break even really, and then you use it and then you draw cards during your opponent's turn, so it's actually still a +1. And if you draw 3 Supply Squad with 1 or multiple pot of Extravagance, then once again, who cares, because you're actually getting, like, you're going like very far. You're definitely gonna be drawing a lot of cards, and Supply Squad really, just in practice, it doesn't really conflict that much, just in theory, but trust me, you gotta be open-minded with that one. Yeah. And then I played 3 of every single other Unchained card. I don't want to explain why don't want to explain why I'm playing 3, because that's very obvious. Like, the deck doesn't, like, the archetype doesn't really have enough like, you know, engine specific cards, because as I already said, I'm maxing out on every single one of them. So Abomination's Prison, you have to remember the fact that it's not an Unchained card, and the reason why this is important is because Sarama can actually not set it back, which is very unfortunate. But, you know, the effect of Abomination's Prison is so good that it's not the end of the world in a way, but yeah, just don't forget about that. And also, they all have the same effects, where if they are set on the field and they are destroyed while being set, like, you can't just flip them and then get both effects, they special summon an Unchained monster from your deck, so it's cool. Walking of the Unchained Wailing, sorry, of the Unchained Souls. This card is not good at all. If you link summon for an Unchained monster, you pretty much get to pop a card on the field. I don't like this at all. I think it's horrible, but once again, even if an Unchained card has a really bad effect, they still always have the same effect, whereas, you know, when they are destroyed while face down, you get your monster for free. So if anything, you just set it and always destroy it, and yeah, they can always, at this point, they can almost not have an effect, and it's not the end of the world. Escape, the 2 traps honestly are so good, because you really want to interrupt during your opponent's turn. Like, yeah, sure, I understand this is really proactive during your own turn when you're going second, but only in a world where you get to play and you don't really have to, like, worry about interruptions. But I suppose it's decent. Like, you really want to make Unchained Soul of Rage, and with Unchained Soul of Disaster, it's quite easy. So you can actually get to pop a lot of cards, honestly. It's nice. Escape of the Unchained is the one that actually allows you to, during either player's turn, obviously since it's a trap, you can actually destroy an Unchained monster you control alongside another card on the field, so including your opponent's board and your own board. And yeah, it has the other second Unchained typical effect. And then at the end, the final one is like a kind of like back to the front, but that can revive back from like also an attack. So you can bring back your linked monsters. That's like the only difference. I want to say it's probably like one of the better ones, because you can also revive back Abominable Unchained Soul and then destroy a card on your opponent's field, which is really nice. Then for the extra deck, I'm playing 2 Darius. That one is like kind of weird, but at the same time, you're playing Pot of Extravagance, so your extra deck really doesn't come up that often. And also, don't forget that you can easily be locked under Fiends Only, because that's like pretty much what they all do, is always like lock you under Fiends Only. So even under the lock, since it's a rank 3, you can still make it very easily with just 2 level 3 Fiends, and they just so happen to all be level 3 Fiends. And it can out-Borreload. It has like a pretty respectable effect, so definitely don't sleep on DDD Stone King Darius. It's a respectable card. I don't want to explain why I'm playing Unicorn and Anguish and Abomination. Boral Sword is very random. Like, you can just cut it and then play 3 like Darius, or if you want to play like Masquerena or something, even though I think it makes absolutely 0 sense, because if you have a monster on the field, then it's probably like a Fiend anyways, so you might as well just, I mean, you probably can't even make Masquerena because you're restricted to Fiends Only, and at this point, if you can make a Link 2, it has to be Unchained Soul of Rage, because it's just the better one, you know? Yeah, it also uses a monster from your opponent's field and not your own, so why would you play Masquerena? Why would you play Phoenix? It's just as easy to make a Phoenix than a Unicorn, except that not really, since Unicorn is also a Fiend, and you summon it like using your opponent's monster. So yeah, I pretty much already covered that, but yeah. That's it for the main deck and the extra deck. The side ideas are just like very random. DD Crow makes no sense when you're playing Called by the Grave, I think, because this deck needs the most as much consistency as it can get. The danger monsters also really aren't too great. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, reveal the danger and then draw a card, discard like an Unchained monster and do nothing? Like, if you're making a rank 3, it's probably like the Bamboozled. That's garbage. Or you're making nothing. Yeah, they just really have 0 synergy. I don't like them at all. And then I don't even know why this is here. But yeah, anyways, that is pretty much all I had to say for this Unchained deck profile. If you have any comments or feedback or anything, let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, once again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because it helps me out a lot. And that's pretty much all I had to say. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace!